Hello.
Hello there.
Now, I know everyone was very nervous, very wondering. Hundreds of people were walking the streets wondering, where is quarantine theater this week? Well, sad. Well, I'm
We
glad.
were otherwise engaged.
We've been very busy. We were on Nantucket, and then we were doing a bunch of stuff. But we're back here to do the third part of Love Letters. So, welcome to Quarantine Theater. So, we are now doing the third part of Love Letters by A.R. Gurney.
Which is the end of part one.
Yes, and for those of you who
because
didn't,
they do eventually grow up.
They do eventually grow up in Act 2. But today is Act 1, which is their college years. As I mentioned before, this is basically a wonderful sequence of love letters between Andy and Melissa, between when they're in second grade and throughout their lives.
And now they're probably getting out of high school, going into college.
They're going into college, and they've been through so many things. They've been in love. They've kissed a few times. They've fallen out of love. They've gotten mad at each other. They've gotten back together. And she's very rich and precocious and evidently has an artist's talent. And he is in love with the written word. And he is driving these love letters, much to her some frustration sometime. But she keeps writing. So without further ado, this is Love Letters Part 3. Ready? Greetings from New Hampshire. This card shows the town that's near us where we sneak in and we buy beer. We're cleaning up the place now and putting out the boat docks and caulking up the canoes because the kids arrive tomorrow. Gotta go. Right soon.
I miss you. I really wish you had come to the Campbell sports party.
Dear Melissa, Sandy McCarthy arrived from home for the second shift here at camp, and he told me all about the Campbell sports party. He said you wore a two-piece bathing suit, and you ran around goosing the girls and pushing boys into the pool. Do you enjoy that sort of crap? He said the other girls were furious with you. Don't you want the respect of other girls? They were all furious with you. Sandy also said you let Bucky Zeller put a tennis ball into your cleavage. Are you a nympho or what? Don't you ever just like sitting down somewhere and making conversation? Sandy says you're turning into a hot box. Do you like having that kind of reputation? Hell, I thought there was a difference between you and Gretchen LaSalle's. Well, maybe I was wrong. Don't you care about anything in the world except hacking around? Don't you feel any obligation to help poor people, for example? Sometimes I think your big problem is that you're so rich, you don't have enough to do. And so you start playing grab ass with people. I'm sorry I said these things, but what Sandy told me made me slightly disgusted, frankly. I wrote you from New Hampshire. Did you receive it? Are you there? Or are you visiting your grandmother or something? Or what? Are you sore at me? I bet you're sore at me. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm a stuffy bastard sometimes, aren't I? Oh, to hell with you then.
Ooh, big tough Andy using four-letter words like hell.
Screw you.
Don't you wish you could?
Well, everybody else seems to be.
Don't believe everything you read in the papers. Dear Andrew Makepeace Lad the Turd, I just want you to know you hurt me very much. I just want you to know that. Now, let's just leave each other alone for a while, all right? All right?
Dear Melissa, my mother wrote that your grandmother had died. Please accept my deepest sympathies.
Thank you for the note about my grandmother. I loved her a lot, even though she could be a little boring.
Congratulations on getting into Briarcliff. I hear it's great.
Thank you for your note about Briarcliff. It's not great, and you know it. In fact, it's a total pit. But it's close to New York, and I can take the train in and take drawing at the Institute 3 days a week. And in 2 years, if I stick it out, Mommy's promised that I could go live in Florence. I hope you like Yale.
Would you consider coming up to the Yale-Dartmouth game Saturday, October 28th?
I'll be there.
Uh-oh. Damn. I'm sorry, Melissa. I have to cancel. My parents have decided to visit that weekend, and they come first, according to them. My mother said she'd love to have you with us, but my father thinks that you can be somewhat distracting.
You and your parents. Let me know when you decide to grow up.
How about the Harvard game, November 16th?
Do you plan to grow up at the Harvard game?
Okay, let's give it a try. Give me a chance. I might surprise you.
Okay, let's try it. You should know that I'm even richer now than I was when you said I was rich. Thanks to poor Granny. I plan to drive up to the front gate of Calhoun College in my new red Chrysler convertible and sit there stark naked and honking my horn and drinking champagne and flashing at all the freshmen.
Okay, here's the schedule. We'll have lunch at Calhoun around noon, and then drive out to the game. And there's a sea breeze party at the Fence Club afterwards, and an eggnog brunch at St. Anthony's the next day. I'll reserve a room for you at the Taft or the Duncan. Probably the Taft, since the Duncan is a pretty seedy joint.
Make it the Duncan. I hear the Taft is loaded with parents, all milling about in the lobby, keeping tabs on who goes up in the elevators. Can't wait till the 16th.
The Duncan it is. Hubba hubba, Goodyear rubber.
Dear Andy, this is supposed to be a thank you letter for your note for the Yale-Harvard weekend, but I don't feel like writing one, and I think you know why. Love, Melissa.
Dear Melissa, I keep thinking about that weekend. I just can't get it out of my mind. It wasn't much good, was it? I don't mean just the Duncan. I mean the whole thing. We didn't really click, did we? I always had the sense that you were looking over my shoulder, looking for someone else. And ditto with me. Both of us seemed to be expecting something different from what was there. As for the Duncan Hotel, I don't know. Maybe I had too many sea breezes. Maybe you did. But what I really think is that there were too many people in that hotel. Besides you and me, it seemed my mother was there egging us on, and my father shaking his head, and your mother zonked out on the couch, and Miss Hawthorne and your grandmother sitting on the sidelines watching like hawks. Anyway, it was a dud. I admit it. I'm sorry. I went to the infirmary on Monday, and I talked to a doctor about it, and he said these things happen all the time, particularly when there's a lot of pressure involved. The woman doesn't have to worry about it so much, but the man does. Anyway, it didn't happen with Gretchen LaSalle. You can write her and ask her if you want.
You know what I think is wrong? These letters. These goddamn letters. That's what's wrong with us, in my humble opinion. I know you more from your letters than I do in person. Maybe that's why I was looking over your shoulder. I was looking for the person who's been in these letters all these years. Or the person who's not in the letters. I don't know. All I know is you're not quite the same when I see you, Andy. You're really not. I'm not saying you're a jerk in person. Not saying that at all. I'm just saying that all this letter writing has messed us up. It's a bad habit. Made it seem like people were not. So maybe what was wrong was that there were two people missing in the Hotel Duncan that night. Namely, the real you and the real me.
Whatever the matter is, we're in real trouble, you and I. That I realize. So now, what do we do about it? Well, maybe we should just concentrate on dancing together. Then we can still hold each other and move together and get very subtly sexy with each other and not have to deliver the goods all the time. You know, come to think of it, maybe that's why they set us a dancing school in the first place. Maybe that's why dancing was invented.
At least we should stop writing letters for a while. You could start telephoning me, actually. Here is our dorm number. Wilson 12486.
I hate talking to you on the telephone. Yours is in the hall, and mine's right up near the college dining room. People are always coming by and making remarks. Telephoning is just not letter writing at all.
I called the telephone company, and they've put a private phone in my room. Rogers 22403. It's sort of expensive, but at least we can talk.
The reason I'm writing you is because your phone's always busy. Or else ours is, and I can't afford a private one. Maybe we should just start writing letters again?
No letters, please. Now order that telephone. I'll lend you the dough. Just think about it. You can talk back and forth and hear someone's real voice and get to know someone in life rather than on writing paper, for God's sake. Now get that phone, please.
I'm writing you because when I telephone you, you just hung up on me. One thing about letters is that you can't hang up on them.
You can tear up letters, though, and close to the pieces. Send them to Angela Atkinson at Silver Lawrence.
What the hell is the matter?
I hear you are now writing long letters twice a week to Angela Atkinson. That's what's the matter.
Okay, here goes. The reason I'm writing Angie Atkinson is because I just don't think I can stop writing letters, particularly to girls. As I told you before, in some ways, I feel most alive when I'm holed up in some corner writing things down. I pick up a pen and almost immediately everything seems to take shape around me. I love to write. I love writing my parents because then I become an ideal son. I love writing essays in English and for moments, I'm a true scholar. I love writing letters to the newspaper, notes to my friends, Christmas cards, anything where I have to put down words. I love writing you. Most of all, I always have. I feel like a true lover when I'm writing you. This letter, which I'm writing with my own hand, with my own pen, in my own penmanship, comes from me and no one else. And is a present of myself to you. It's not on a typewriter, though I've learned how to type. There's no copy of it, although I suppose I could use carbon. But it's not a phone call, which is dead as soon as it's over. No, This is just me, the way I write, the way my writing is, the way I want to be to you, giving you myself to you across a distance, not keeping or retaining any part of it for myself, giving this piece of myself to you totally. And you can tear me up and throw me out, or you can keep me and read me today and tomorrow and any time you want to till you die.
Oh boy, Andy. Love, Melissa.
No. I meant what I wrote in my letter. I've thought about it. I've thought about all these dumb things which are done to us when we were young. We had absent parents. We had slapping nurses. We had stupid rules, obsolete schooling, empty rituals, hopelessly confusing sexual customs. Oh my God, when I think about it now, it's almost unbelievable. It's a fantasy. It's like we're back in the Oz books, the way we grew up. But they gave us an out in the land of Oz. They made us write. They didn't make us write particularly well, and they didn't always give us important things to write about, but they did make us sit down and organize our thoughts and convey these thoughts on paper as clearly as we could to another person. Thank God for that. That saved us, or at least saved me. So I have to keep writing letters. If I can't write them to you, then I'll have to write to someone else. I don't think I could ever stop writing completely. Now, can I come up and see you next weekend? Or better yet, won't you please escape from that suburban Sing Sing and come down here and see me? I wrote my way into this problem, and God damn it, I'm writing my way out. I'll make another reservation at the Hotel Duncan, and I promise I'll put down my pen and give you a better time.
Dear Andy, guess what? Right while I was in the middle of reading your letter, Jack Duffield telephoned from Amherst and asked me for a weekend up there. So I said yes before you got to the end, to the part where you asked me. Sorry, sweetie. But it looks like the telephone wins in the end.
Dear Melissa, somehow I don't think this is the end. It could be, but I don't really think it is. At least I hope it isn't. Love, Andy. End of Act 1. So, that's the end of the first act of Love Letters. We love reading this.
Yeah.
It's like us. It's like this wonderful kind of gift that Pete Gurney gave us all. And
Thank you, Pete.
thank you, Pete. We thought we'd let you know that we're going to hang up our play reading spurs
Going
for a
bye-bye
while.
for a while.
We just think we've done this pretty well for 24 episodes, and we're going to take a break.
And helped us survive.
Yes, it helped us survive and
Pandemic.
feel like actors, even if there's only 2 people listening. It made us feel like we're doing what we were born to do. And if you really are interested in seeing more quarantine theater, you can go to our website. I'll post it again and see all of the 24 or 25 episodes we've done.
Wow.
My God. And we hope that it's helped you survive these strange times. And other projects are looming for us, and we'll tell you about those when they show up. But in the meantime, stay well, stay safe, and thank you for watching Quarantine Theater.
See you soon.